If you cast your mind back to the year of 2019, as far as the superhero landscape was concerned, it was a very interesting time. We were probably at the peak of that excitement around superhero movies. Specifically, Marvel was really dominating at the time. They still are in many ways, but they had just brought out Captain Marvel. That made $1 billion. They had Endgame coming out, which was such an epic tie off to this amazing saga that we had watched, and everyone's kind of looked back as though at that time as the really joyous comic book movie hero time. And another movie that slipped in between those big blockbusters was The Joker. The Joker was an interesting choice for DC to be doing at the time. It was an Elseworld story with Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips, the previous director of the Hangover movies. A lot of people had a lot of questions about, was this needed? Was it going to be any good? Who's going to watch a movie with the Joker in it without Batman? What's this all about? Where does it take place? There was a lot of questions. There was a lot of people who were really opposed to it coming out, thinking that it was going to cause acts of violence and all these kinds of things. Ultimately, what we got, I think, was an unexpected, massive success in that Joker made $1 billion. Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar. It was nominated for Best Picture. I think it won another Oscar for music. There was nominated for quite a few. And the takeaway was this was just an amazing, well done film. When it came out, all that I heard people saying was this movie is just depressing. And I remember thinking going into it, I'm not so excited to be depressed. I love the character of the Joker. I love Batman, and I love the whole. This is my favorite superhero and my favorite pair. And going into it, I just didn't want to go into this thing just watching this guy live a depressing life. And it was depressing for the first few minutes, but it wasn't the whole movie. In fact, I found that as it went along, he got on his feet quite quickly and was able to become a force of nature quite fast. I think I expected to be more. The way people were talking about it made it sound like this was the most depressing movie you're ever going to watch. But it was great. I absolutely loved it. It was so well done, just brilliantly directed, brilliantly acted. It's exactly the kind of film that I think we needed at the time. It was very different from everything else we were seeing. And it had come out in a time where superhero movies were just the king of the castle. Now we got The Joker 2, Folie à Deux. I don't know how to say that. I'm just saying it as passionately as I can to hope that it sounds French. This is a movie coming out now at a time when DC is in a no man's land. We're kind of in between the end of an era and the beginning of another one, and somewhere in between, we've got this Joker movie, Joker Part 2. So, the question is, we've got this trailer that's come out. I'm going to be reacting to this trailer. I'm very excited to see it. But my questions are really, what is the capacity for Joker 2 compared to Joker 1? Are we expecting another $1 billion movie? World is in a very different place right now. And I think as well, the novel of his character and all of that is it's not new. We've seen it before, now we're seeing the second part. The fact that Joaquin Phoenix decided to do a second one, being that they never planned to do a second one. This is just we loved the success of the first one. Money talks, and they've decided to make a second one. I don't think Joaquin Phoenix has ever done a sequel to anything. So for him to be saying, okay, well, I'm happy to take on this role again, must have meant that the script was good. I hope, because the first movie was based on, in many ways, had a lot of similarities to Taxi Driver and a very old school movie. I think The Man Who Laughs or something. I can't remember their name exactly, but it almost had a template in a way. I don't know what the second one is. We'll see from the trailer if it gives us a bit of the story. But the second one has now introduced Harley Quinn, played by Lady Gaga. She's going to be in this movie. I'm very excited to see. I think it's going to be a big draw for a lot of people. And it's supposed to be a musical, having something like over 15 musical numbers, which gives a lot of people pause, I think. I'm not opposed to musicals, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm in love with the idea of having them sing the whole movie. If they're going to be theatrical pieces to express the emotion or the moment, absolutely. But I'm not so sure I want to see every moment sung by them. And I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think it will be a purposefully placed musical number. Obviously, Lady Gaga's got a lot of musical talents that can really contribute toward this being interesting. I don't know if I've heard ever Joaquin Phoenix sing in my life, but we'll see. We'll see if it's going to kind of feature that. But yeah, it's a very interesting idea. Very curious. The behind the scenes photos that have popped up of Lady Gaga have been... She looks like she's dead inside. I don't know if that's just because of Hollywood, but I'm interested to see how she takes it on. She's a great actress, and I think this has got a lot of meat to really get into it. And coming off of Joaquin Phoenix winning an Oscar, there's a lot of the bar is high. The bar is high for this movie. So, without further folie ado, I'm butchering that. Let's see what this trailer's all about.
Let's go, boys. It's showtime. Wakey, wakey.
Hey, Fleck, you got a joke for us today?
Looks like he's excited. Wait, she's a patient? She's supposed to be his
to make
therapist.
us whole, to balance the fractures within ourselves.
I'm nobody. I haven't done anything with my life like you have.
Call back.
Let's get out of here.
What the world needs now is a love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Tell us, what's changed? Are there?
I'll tell you what's changed. I'm not alone anymore. That's what we should be talking about.
I want to see the real you.
Oof. Wow. Oh man, it's so weird because he's a psychopath and he's smiling, but I can't help smile as well. It's so weird. That looks brilliant. It looks amazing. It's interesting what they've taken here. So, Harley Quinn, if you're not familiar with the comic book version and with the movie representation, was Harleen Quinzel. She's the therapist looking after Joker when he's in Arkham Asylum. And in the process of kind of helping him recover, the Joker convinces her to essentially fall in love with him. She helps him break out, and that's their kind of relationship. And traditionally, the relationship is a very toxic relationship. The way that they function is that she's in love with him. He doesn't really care about her, but he does kind of care about her, but it's never quite clear. She's just like over the moon, like a puppy, blinded by the fact that he doesn't really treat her very well and all these kinds of things. Makes for a very interesting relationship. But this, what it seems like, is this is, in the first movie, the Joker's, and I guess spoilers if you haven't seen Joker, but I don't know if you'd be wanting to see this trailer if you hadn't seen Joker Part 1. Anyway, spoilers for the first movie, but Joker is seeing a lot of visions. He's imagining a lot of things happening differently, potentially to how they were happening, and there was a bit of discussion over if the events that happened in the movie necessarily were happening or if it was just in Arkham Asylum or all this kind of stuff. But it's clear that he's unwell and he's interpreting life in a way that isn't quite accurate. And what it seems to be is that he's sharing the asylum with the character of Harley Quinn, who seems to be having a shared imaginative viewing of how the world is, the way that the Joker sees it. And through that, they're falling in love. And the kind of opposites of them sitting together in the same asylum, like watching a theatrical thing happen, and they're just projecting that it's them in love, what it seemed to be, is such an interesting idea. It's this twisted love story. It looks great. I mean, it looks great. I've felt a little bit of hesitation about the second one. I'm excited about it. I was excited about it, but now I want to watch this. It's got a lot of potential. I think, like I said, it has a lot to live up to, if based on the fact of the success of the first one being an Oscar winner in his performance, and Lady Gaga's got a lot to live up to. She's, of course, super talented, but it looks like she's keeping up here. Wow, what do you guys think? Does this look like the kind of thing you imagined it would be? I'm glad it's not singing every line. That's a relief. That would have been very hard to watch. But what this looks like is a very interesting interpretation of the source material, which is taking a lot of liberties, but so did the first one, and it was great. So, you know, in Todd we trust. Let's see how this turns out. I'm very excited to see it. Thanks for watching this reaction. Please leave your comments below. Let me know if you like this or if you don't. I think it's fantastic, and just what I think the comic book world needs at this point in time. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.